right. Welcome to another beautiful day on Earth and another day of Dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk love and life and how it got them to where they are today. I am your host, Danny Rocco, and with me is Mr. Frank. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing wonderful. Thank you for having me this morning.
I am very excited, even though you're so cute. You're like in Tennessee. You've been born there. The weather's amazing. He wants to move to New England, and I'm trying to convince him not to. I'm like, you're not going to like it. Although he did tell me he's half polar bear. So first fun fact of Frank is he is half polar bear out there, guys. Oh, but Frank, before we get going, tell the world a little bit about who you are, besides the polar bear issue.
Oh, gosh. Well, my name is Frank Caperton, and I'm actually the third. And as I like to say, with three daughters, I'm the last. There won't be a fourth. So,
going out with a bang, Frank. You're going out with a bang.
Raised in small town, Middle Tennessee, grew up milking cows, believe it or not. About half my childhood, though, was outside of Amarillo, Texas. So there's a bit of Texas in my upbringing as well. Live here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the geographic center of the state of Tennessee. As you can see behind me, I love Rutherford County history. In fact, I'm the past president of the Rutherford County Historical Society. Have three grown daughters, two grandsons. In fact, one is in the room next door, hopefully being quiet right now, because he's not even a year old yet. Love to volunteer. To me, God gave us all gifts. We must use those gifts in his service, or he'll take them away and give them to someone else. Met Danny through Andrew here in Murfreesboro, he's an old Marine. I learned you never say ex-Marine, do you? You
no.
Don't say ex. And met him of all things through shooting photography at the the Veterans Day service at the Rutherford County Courthouse in 2019. And I saw this young Marine, young in 40s, looking down at a monument on our historic square. And I thought, that's a good picture. And I got it. And I met him later. Now he and I get together about 2 or 3 times a month just to have fun, cut up, and to see how he's doing. Let's see, everyone knows me as Frank the Computer Guy. I've been fixing computers since 1983.
It's a long time, Frank. 1983, that was a long time. I was like rolling my socks down, wearing neon, the big hoop earrings, scrunchies.
I was much thinner and had, the hair was parted down the middle and probably had a Def Leppard t-shirt on.
I went to my first concert in the 80s, Cyndi Lauper.
Golly, that is too funny.
And then Hall & Oates. Hall & Oates and Cyndi Lauper were my first 2 concerts. Very different.
Rock and soul, Hall & Oates. But also, but people know me as well as what I call Frank and his camera. I do a lot of photography. Anything it takes. Like my business card says, a collection of skills. Why be locked into one thing when you can excel at so many things and, again, give back to your community?
I love that. Why do one thing when you can excel at so many and give back? And that is how we met. We met through Andrew, and you were taking pictures at one of the events at the Boondocks. Shout out to the Boondocks, by the way. Awesome place. It is in the Boondocks, but it is, what did they tell me? The owner told me about it. Woody, he was saying like when they bought it, it was like, you know the movie Roadhouse with, what's his face? Patrick Swayze, yes. And he goes, when we bought the Boondocks, it was like before he took over. That's what it was like. And they totally redid it. So it's like the live Patrick Swayze Roadhouse story right there. But you were there doing an event that Michelle had put together. Andrew was there, and you were taking pictures, and they were so amazing. And then Andrew connected us.
Well, it's funny you mentioned about the Boondocks. I had never been there until about a month ago when I went with Andrew. And the first thing I noticed was it was exceptionally clean. It was spotless. And I thought, because I kind of grew up in the nightclub industry, we won't go there. But I was like, wow, it's large, it's clean, had good food. Frank likes food.
Who doesn't like food? I'm a wicked foodie. That's why I have to run in the morning and work out, because if not, I would be like 3 times as big as I am right now, because I do enjoy food. Although, Frank, I have to tell you, I realized that when I was younger, I enjoyed food. And now as I'm older, I'm like in my 40s, I enjoy the experience of the food. Like who I'm with and what is the environment and what are we talking about. And I could probably have like one bite of whatever it is and be like, that was the best meal ever. Because I'm all about the experience now.
Well, tell me, what other questions would you like to know today?
So I want you to talk about how you got into photography first. Like, what brought you to be like, I'm going to take this gift and I am going to capture moments for individuals? Because really, that's what you do. And then it goes down in history.
It does. Well, it's funny you mentioned that again. I love our local history. Started shooting pictures fresh out of high school. We're going back to 1980 in that case. Had no film camera that I shot, a Minolta I shot for 25 years. But you can't get film developed anymore, not reliably.
Yeah.
So when I really started coming into my own, I don't want to sound like I'm really, really that good, but it was probably just about 10 or 12 years ago when DSLR cameras started coming down in price, and my love for local history. So I would go out and document, as I call it, digitally preserve old structures, trees, for example. I live next door to the Stones River National Battlefield. It's less than 200 yards over my shoulder. Well, there's development. If anyone knows Murfreesboro, I mean, we're one of the fastest growing cities in the United States and have been for 25 years. So just before they developed down the street, I went and shot pictures of what they call witness trees, trees that were here during the battle, 1862 battle of Stones River. Those trees are no longer here, but I captured them with my camera before they, were knocked down. And I get that. Growth is good.
So it's like this tie-in because you love history, and then to preserve history, you use your skill of photography. Now, what got you into history? Is that like as a kid? Because history can be boring, definitely. Frank.
Well, look, just like my love for the Rutherford County Historical Society, we do something every Saturday that at our 1840 headquarters, we call it Coffee and Conversation. That we started that in 2016 because I remember as a kid, my grandparents, both paternal and maternal grandparents, grandfathers, would drag me down to the courthouse to listen to them swap lies about their experiences in World War II and in Korea. And so I thought, well, why don't we do that on a local basis where people come in and just talk about history? Now, Danny, history isn't necessarily what happened just 200 years ago. History could be, in my kids remember a restaurant that's no longer with us. That restaurant was there 15 years ago. To them, that's history. So we'll talk about that restaurant, for example. History could be what happened 200 years ago. People in Tennessee tend to think of Civil War as being the only history. Civil War was that much history in Rutherford County. It was less than 4 years of the 217 years we've been in existence. And I can imagine what you see in New England. Oh, my goodness. Which century would you like to talk about? But the photography comes in handy because I will go out. If I know that a building, we have a bank building right now. Here's a good example. It was built in 1974. What's called Federalist design. It wasn't real pretty when they built it. Don't tell anybody. But they're tearing it down right now. So I was honored to be able to go inside the bank legally and shoot off.
Good. We don't want you arrested, Frank. We don't want you arrested.
Well, I went with the former bank president, so we're both going to the Hooskow. But photography and history, to me, they're inseparable. You have to document stuff.
You just made me rethink history because when I think of history, I think of like my history class and the teacher and just really boring stuff. But I am a big, I love and I'm a big proponent for generational learning from your grandparents, learning from your great grandparents, and the stories that they tell. So I never made that connection in my brain of learning about history in that form.
I gave a tour of, I mentioned that the Rutherford County Historical Society is headquartered in a home that was built in 1840. Well, Well, I give tours quite often. Just people call up. Hey, I can be there Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Cool. Well, about a year and a half ago, a group of Girl Scouts wanted a tour. And one of the things I do, especially with the kids, I'll say how important it is to record those conversations that your parents and grandparents and such are having. I'll say, who all has a cell phone? Well, they all have cell phones. Hit record and just set it down, let it roll. After just 2 or 3 minutes, they forget that cell phone is sitting there, but you've captured, you've digitized those moments. What would you give to be able to hear your grandparents' voice? I don't have mine.
Yeah. And the
But we also
stories, like
stuff like this, people will loan me pictures that, and Frank, the computer guy and photographer, will take that picture. I've scanned it in. I'll enhance it. Now he has not only the original, but now he'll have a digital copy as well. So in case something happens to that original, he has a backup.
Yeah, that would be cool to take those stories, those voices, and then you have them in your computer, right? So you're looking at them and hearing them, because my grandfather, we have like we have crazy history in our family. And it kind of died when my grandfather died, because my father told his side, but like the real, where we come from, our Italian heritage, that was my grandfather's kind of history. And now that he's gone, it is gone. We only have bits and pieces like of what I remember, what my brother remembers, what my cousin remembers, and we put it all together. And what we've decided is we're just really a crazy Italian family with mob ties. That's it. That's really all you got to know.
But that's why I say, even it doesn't have to be high tech. Hit record on your cell phone, set it down, and just let, like at Christmas or whatever dinner, just let it roll. Let it roll. Yeah. Keep it, save it somewhere, save it on a computer, preferably. That way you can back it up easier.
What a good tip of the day. Tip of the day to keep your family going, your legacy going. It's not just what you leave behind, physically. It's the stories and that heart and soul of you that you are leaving for generations after. So what is the coolest thing maybe that you've taken pictures of, or is a very cool piece of history that people really don't know about?
Oh my goodness. How much time do we have?
Just one a minute.
Nuances of history. I can't say I've taken a picture of it, but one of my favorite stories when people come to visit the Rutherford County Historical Society are Hollywood connections with people from Rutherford County. The best being there was a young lady whose name was Judy Gum, Gum, just like chewing gum. Her father grew up here. She didn't. She grew up in Minnesota, but she spent at least 2 summers at her grandparents' farm here in Rutherford County, Tennessee. Well, she quit spending her summers here because she went to Hollywood. She made a movie called Wizard of Oz. She changed her name from Judy Gum to Judy Garland. She has Rutherford County roots. And the other Hollywood story was there was a young lady, a very high maintenance young lady. I don't know, she wasn't like us now, but her name was Go Lightly, and she moved to New York. She grew up in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. She moved to New York to become a writer. Instead, she met another writer. She did become a writer. Let me rephrase. She met another Southern writer, befriended him. He wrote a book about her, based loosely about her, that became a hit movie where Audrey Hepburn won an Oscar portraying Bonnie or Holly Golightly, based on a young lady who grew up right here in Murfreesboro. And she spent the rest of her life, by the way, in court trying to win her identity back. We're talking in the 60s and 70s. So just little nuances of history. As far as the camera in history, oh my goodness. I take 25,000 pictures a year. I don't know. I love our courthouse, which I'm looking behind me. I don't have a picture behind me, but our courthouse was built in 1859. And goodness gracious, it's photogenic. As I call it, our local Rutherford County courthouse is my girlfriend. Maybe I need that relationship again.
I love those stories. I'm going to have to go there when I'm either with the January trip or the February trip. We'll have to go to the Historical Society and check it out, because you don't really know. Like, if you're not a history buff, I like the highlights, like what you just gave me. I want to go in, I want to hear the highlights of what it is, and then someone else do all the research for me. I'm a lazy historian.
Well, local history is everywhere. And as I say, at the Rutherford County Historical Society, our catchphrase is to preserve and promote our local history, because it's $25 a year to join. Good grief. Every penny stays in Rutherford County. We're not a member of any associations that cost hundreds of nothing. Mm-hmm. But with that $25, we help people preserve and promote their local history within Rutherford County. Be it a building, we do a lot of graveyard work, cemeteries and graveyards. We have one of our volunteers. We don't charge a penny. He maintains people's cemeteries for them. There's over 1,000 cemeteries in Rutherford County.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. There's a lot of dead people here.
Yeah.
Wow. There's so many other ways to serve your community. You've got, I encourage people to join a civic organization, such as I'm a Rotarian, the Lions Club, the Kiwanis, the JCs, whomever in your local community. Give back, folks. Give back. If not, if you don't feel like joining something, well, just go down to the local Salvation Army. They're always looking for volunteers. Any shelter, be it homeless shelter, we're going to serve you a hot meal shelter, anything. Get out and serve, folks. You got to pay your bills too, but get out and serve.
That's right. What did we say? We said, you got to do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do.
I like that. I need to jot that down, but I can't read my handwriting.
Well, you are the man of many gifts, giving them all back, doing great things, even the stuff that earns you money, like fixing computers and things like that. Yeah. So that I am not the computer person at all. That will not be my nickname, or in a sentence with me. Nope. Not at all.
It's my volunteer habit.
So now I got you. So I'm good. I got somebody. Even from afar, I got somebody. I'll just bring it all down when I go to Tennessee. Like, fix all of this. I don't know what's wrong.
Our personalities match just wonderfully.
So before I let you go and finish up your day, Frank, what? I just almost, like, my mind just went blank. I was like giggling at a joke, my own joke inside my head. I was giggling and forgot what I was going to ask you. No, in this moment right now, I ask that you answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. No matter how silly it sounds, just say it, because it's your truth. In this moment right now, Frank, what does love mean to you?
What does love mean to me? Let's take it to my own mother. Yeah, a Southern boy that admits he was a mama's boy. That was me. But Mom was tough. She was tough. She was, as I like to say, she was an only mother of a single child. She raised me, in essence, by herself, along with the help of her parents and my father's parents. And wow, she was tough. She had that tough love. She was also the first female deputy in Amarillo, Texas. That shows she was tough right there.
Really?
I would have been in all kinds of trouble. I mean, I had a great athletic career throughout high school because she was my primary encourager on those days. That being in business for so long, I don't feel like doing it today. She was the one there to kick my butt. But she went to heaven in 1988, and I still miss her every day. I learned from her how to love other people. That's Christ. You got to have that love of Christ in you to volunteer. That's all there is to it.
Oh, what a great answer. Frank, thank you so much for sharing who you are and what you've got going on. I can't wait when I go down there to see you in person, see how you take those pictures. I always like to watch people take pictures because I wish I had like a GoPro on my head, or I could digitally just take something like, oh, that'd be great. But then when I take my phone out, it never ever comes out as the way I see it. So I will learn some tricks of the trade, and you did give us some good advice on how to preserve our own history. So thank you so much. And until next time, everybody, remember, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye now.